Welcome back, folks. Chase Valenzuela with Millennium Bowling Supply. Back for a review of the brand new Storm Fate. The Fate is the newest Belmo collaboration here with Storm Bowling products. So 252 RG 052 diff paired with the Rex Pearl cover stock. This one with the Reactagloss finish on it. Initial thoughts, it's very angular. To be honest, on paper, this was my favorite combination of core with the Rex Pearl cover stock because the nano load in the Rex Pearl makes it a little bit early and get a little bit of traction sooner than maybe I'd like in a bigger core. And so this mid RG really helps it still get down the lane and make the corner. And I'm trying to play a little further right here. We'll really firm up and try to shut the angles down before we move left. As you can see, this one is pin up. That VLS layout is 5 1/4 by 4 by 2.5. Pretty standard layout for me, a touch taller on the pin than I've been going. Let's start moving in here. This thing is crazy. I really feel like we've been missing this bigger angular piece, really in the symmetrical and asymmetrical area. And this one is crazy. We're gonna try to put one in that same spot and tick the speed up a little bit to try to get it down the lane and not leave that high 4 pin. So I'm not really far right here. This thing just keeps going. As I was saying, I think this core pairs really nicely with this Rex cover because the cover allows the ball to still get traction while the RG gets it to store energy and get down the lane, where it really transfers a lot of that energy to the pins. We're gonna move in again. All right, so from that spot, I'm gonna reduce rotation a little bit. That one just screamed off the spot. And not my best shot. So if you know anything about Belmo, you know he likes to move in, play the big hook. So we're gonna take a step left here, go back to my standard release, not try to fluff it. Right off the bat, this is way more angular than any symmetric pearl option we have in the line. You know, the first two things that come to mind that I can throw on the fresh are the Zen, and then to a lesser extent, the Phase 5. Both of those balls are lower RG and a little heavier rolling, so they don't like the big angles as much. The Zen will get there just because of how strong it is, but the Phase 5 for me, really not usable when I move into the puddle. We're gonna go another 2 and 1 off those last two. And I think we're getting close to the right spot here because I finally had one that didn't overhook. So we're gonna go one more left with the feet, try to bump the dry a little sooner. Crazy. We just haven't had this back end monster ball on the line in a little while. The Spectre was pretty close. This honestly reminds me a little bit of that. Might be a touch cleaner. We'll put a couple more there just because I feel like that's a good spot. Maybe we'll move in a little bit more before we get into comparisons. This pair is fresh. Being this far left on a fresh pair here at Millennium with a pearl ball, a pearl symmetrical ball at that, is really, really unusual for me here these last few months. And I've been bowling well, but I haven't really got the feet left of, 25, 27 towards the end of the night, and I'm standing on 30 now. got that one a little right. Try to throw one better here. Again, kind of in that same area. The nice thing about these mid-RG balls is they're a little bit easier through the fronts and the mids, and they're a little bit less liable to pick up and go too early. They let me play the ball do underhook instead of overhook, so I can be a little softer, be a little more aggressive with my hand.
Rusty, I got a 180 on 26.
And that went in the oil a little bit, and it got the 10 out. It's a good sign. Again, I think the nano load in this Rex Pearl cover really helps it pick up in the oil and get a little traction where it doesn't just shoot down the lane. It has, with that polish on it, it reminds me of that R3S Pearl that was on the Spectre, but this is a little bit better in oil, which the middle is dead fresh. We're gonna grab the Trend 2 here. This is my first comparison ball. Might have babied that one a little. The Trend 2, obviously the most recent Belmo ball besides this Fate here. Much different numbers. So in 15 pounds, the RG is 2.54. So a couple points higher, but the differential is the big change. The differential on the Trend 2 is only 0.041. So for me, it really did not like to go left to right. When I got in the oil, I should say. And that one was pretty good. That was more similar. The Trend 2 also featured NRG hybrid on the cover, so it gets a lot more traction and is a lot smoother than the Rex Pearl that looks like is on the Fate with that Reacta-Gloss. So we'll go Fate in that same spot here, and we'll go a couple of shots alternating between the Fate and the Trend 2 so we can really get an idea of the shape difference. Better, still right, but better off my hand. So we'll try to hang the Trend 2 to the right a little bit on this next shot and see if it gets back. Pretty close. And same kind of hit. The larger, stronger cover on that Trend 2 picked up in the friction a little bit earlier. Was able to get back and carry it where the Fate let the little shaker 7-pin. We'll go back to the Fate here. Good shot. To me, the Fate just feels like a little bit better matchup of the core and the cover. The Trend 2 is a little bit cover dominant, and for me that made it really conditional because if there was enough oil to throw the cover, there also needed to be enough recovery for that lower differential core to recover and still hook, even though it wasn't flaring that much. So I did drill mine on a stronger pin to try to help with that, but it wasn't a ball that I could just use all the time. If it wasn't there, it looked pretty bad. But when it was there, it looked really good, like that. So overall, not dissimilar hook potential wise, but I think I like the Fate a little bit better just because it fits a spot a little bit more as that flippy pearl symmetrical ball for me. We'll throw one more with the Fate, and then I actually brought a pin-up Infinite Physix to compare to. So we'll go to the Infinite Physix now. The number's not totally different other than obviously the Infinite Physix is an asymmetrical ball where the Fate is symmetrical. So we'll go in the same spot here. This pin-up Infinite Physix does have some polish on it. So you see going across at the Infinite Physix, a lot less responsive, a little more forward. We'll try to put the Fate in that same spot just for comparison, and then we may go back right a little bit with the Infinite. My down asymmetrical layout is a little bit stronger on the pin position, and those balls do keep their axis a little bit longer, but they also flare more, so they force me further left. Asym's not typically my first option on a house shot, and that was a 3-and-1 move right just to try to square up with that Infinite a little bit. We're going to reduce axis rotation, try to put one in that same spot. A little further right, but rolling it more keeps it going forward. Keeps it from going forward, rather. We'll put the Fate in that same spot with that little bit of reduced axis rotation. I suspect it'll 10 pin or 4 pin. Pretty close to the same spot and able to catch a light hit. So again, that nano additive in the Infinite, in that REX Pearl cover stock, really does a lot to mitigate what I typically see out of these Pearl symmetrical balls. So we'll go Infinite Physics one more time, reduced rotation, similar location. And you saw that one spin up a little quick, but the reduced axis rotation allowed it to stay on line and still hit the pocket. Try to repeat with the Fate one more time. So still able to get it to go flush. Well, there you have it, Belmo's newest collaboration, the Storm Fate. You can get yours at your local pro shop November 18th or come see me at Millennium Bowling Supply. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Please subscribe.